You ever notice how people think they've got all the time in the world? They treat warnings like background noise, like the static on a radio they can just tune out. But that's the thing about certain chances. Once they slip past you, they don't circle back for a second hello. One moment, they're right there in front of you, breathing, waiting, almost begging for you to notice, and the next, gone. No echo, no trace, no second try. People laugh, shrug it off, tell themselves it's not serious, not urgent. But behind that smile, there's a clock ticking down. And when it hits 0, well, there's no sound, quite like the silence of something you can never get back. People walk through life like it's a grocery store that never closes, thinking they can browse the aisles forever, come back tomorrow, pick up what they left behind. They don't realize that certain shelves, once empty, stay empty. You pass by something rare, something that could change the whole course of your story, and you think, I'll grab it later. But later doesn't always show up. Later is a trick. Later is a door that might not even exist by the time you go looking for it. You'll stand there staring at the space where it used to be, pretending you're fine, pretending it doesn't matter. But you'll feel the hollow in your chest where it should have been. See, most people think the big mistake in life is choosing the wrong thing. No. The real mistake is thinking the right thing will just wait for you. That it's polite, patient, willing to sit there quietly while you get your act together. But life doesn't work like that. It's a dealer in a game you didn't even realize you were playing, and it slides the winning card across the table one time. Just one. If you're too busy daydreaming, checking your phone, or drowning in excuses, you don't even notice it pass you by. And the cruel part, you might not even know it was the moment until years later. You'll be sitting somewhere going over all the what, ifs, realizing how small the decision seemed back then, and how massive the consequences turned out to be. That's when it hits you. The opportunity didn't just pass, it's gone. And it's not coming back dressed the same way. You could search every alley, every corner, every face in the crowd, but that exact set of circumstances, that perfect collision of timing and possibility, it's buried. People don't get that once means they've once. They live like every door has a spare key, like every train will loop back around eventually. But there are doors in this world that slam shut so hard. They lock themselves from the other side forever. And you're left holding nothing but your own hesitation. That hesitation is heavy, isn't it? It feels harmless in the moment. Just a pause, just a breath. Just one more night to think it over. But that pause is where opportunities go to die. The universe doesn't slow down for you. It doesn't hold a spot in line with your name on it. It moves on. And it takes the good stuff with it. And you're left standing there, wondering why the air feels colder, why the room feels emptier, why the thing that was once within reach now feels like a ghost you can't grab. It's not because it hates you. It's because you didn't reach fast enough, didn't step forward when the path was clear. Here's the part most people can't handle. Missing out isn't dramatic. It doesn't come with a warning siren or flashing lights. It's quiet. It's subtle. It's you saying, I'll deal with it later, and life saying, all right, before it turns and walks away. You don't even hear the footsteps fade. You only notice when the silence starts to eat at you. And by then, the shelf is empty, the seat is taken, the door is locked. And the game has already moved on, without you urgency, has a strange way of knocking on your door. It doesn't send a polite letter, doesn't wait for you to clean yourself up or pour a cup of coffee. No, it barges in, we dripping with tension, staring right at you while you fumble for excuses. And what do? You treat it like a salesman at your door, peeking through the blinds, hoping it just goes away. But urgency isn't selling you anything. It's warning you. It's telling you that the clock is running and the sand is sliding through faster than you think. You ignore it, and you're not just ignoring a moment. You're inviting regret to pull up a chair and get comfortable. People think urgency is just pressure, that it's some over-dramatic alarm in your head you can mute if you're not ready. But the truth, it's not pressure, it's precision. It's the exact second when all the moving pieces are aligned, when the window is open just enough for you to slip through. Wait too long, and that alignment scatters, the window slams shut, and you're left explaining to yourself why you didn't move. And you'll get creative with those explanations. It wasn't the right time. I needed more information. I'll do it later. Little lies dressed up as wisdom, masking the truth. You were scared, and you hoped the world would wait for you. But here's the thing, it doesn't. The world doesn't even notice you're hesitating. It keeps spinning, shuffling the cards, dealing them to people who are willing to play right now. And while you're still thinking about whether you like the game, someone else is taking the jackpot you thought you'd eventually get around to. The worst part is how normal ignoring urgency feels. It doesn't sting at first. You shrug it off, convince yourself it's no big deal. You carry on with your day, maybe even laugh a little. And then days, months, years later, you start noticing the echo of that missed moment. It creeps in during the quiet times when you're alone, when you're staring at a ceiling in the dark. That whisper of, "You should have done it," doesn't fade. It grows. And by the time you finally realize that urgency wasn't just an inconvenience, it's too late. The choice has been made not by you, but by your inaction. That's the cruel thing. When you don't act, you think you're avoiding risk, but you're really choosing a different kind of risk, the kind you don't notice until it's carved its initials into your life. Ignoring urgency is like ignoring a storm on the horizon because the sky above you is still clear. You think you've got time, think you can prepare later, and then suddenly the rain is pouring, the wind is howling, and the chance to take shelter has already passed. And you're left standing in the downpour, soaked in the weight of your own delay. Urgency doesn't come to make your life harder. It comes to wake you up, to shake you out of the comfortable little bubble where you think tomorrow is guaranteed and opportunities circle back like friendly pigeons. They don't. They fly off and they don't come home. That's why when urgency knocks, you don't hide, you don't stall, you don't hope it goes away. You answer, because if you don't, it's not just the moment that leaves. It's the future that could have followed it not. Everything in life repeats itself. That's the little trick no one likes to talk about. You grow up thinking there's always a second chance, that you can just hit retreat if you mess it up the first time. But reality, it doesn't work that way. Some moments, some warnings, some doors, they only open once. And the second you hesitate, they're gone. Like smoke, like they were never there. You might even start to question if they ever were. But deep down, you remember, see, people like to comfort themselves with the idea that life is generous with opportunities. There will be another one, they say. What's meant for you will always come back. Sweet little bedtime stories for adults. The truth is far sharper. What's meant for you can walk right past if you're not ready to grab it. And it doesn't have to come back. It's not obligated to wait for you to get your act together. It can and will keep moving without even glancing over its shoulder. Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a platform, and a train roars into the station. The doors slide open, and you freeze. Maybe you're thinking about whether it's the right train. Maybe you're worrying about where it's going to take you. And then, ding, the doors close. The train is gone, and you're still standing there, watching the lights fade into the distance. That moment doesn't care about your hesitation. It gave you a chance. You didn't take it. End of story. The worst part. Sometimes you don't even realize it was the moment until much later. You go about your life, make your little plans. Keep telling yourself you'll be ready next time. But when next time never comes, that's when the weight hits you. You start rewinding the tape in your head, replaying every second before it slipped away. And the more you watch, the heavier it gets. Not because you didn't know, but because you did. Somewhere inside you felt it. You just ignored it. People think they're safe because life is long. I've got years ahead of me, they say. But they forget that not all years are equal. Some years are loud, full of doors swinging open, paths splitting in every direction. Others are quiet, repetitive, uneventful. If you miss the loud years, the ones that scream at you to act, you can't just copy, paste them into the quiet ones. The magic doesn't transfer, and sometimes those moments are so rare that missing just one changes the whole shape of your life. One decision, one refusal to step forward. That's all it takes for an entire future to vanish before it even exists. You might still live, still breathe, still work, still smile, but somewhere in the shadows is the version of you that could have been if you just moved when you were supposed to. The dangerous thing is how easy it is to dismiss them. You tell yourself it wasn't that important. You say it wasn't the right timing. You convince yourself that if it really mattered, it would knock louder. But the truth, it did knock. You just didn't like the sound, and so you muted it, went back to whatever kept you comfortable. and now comfort feels colder. That's the nature of moments that don't come back. They leave behind ghosts, not the kind that slam doors or rattle chains, the kind that sits beside you in silence, whispering reminders you don't want to hear. They don't haunt you all at once. They wait. They bide their time. And every now and then, when you least expect it, they lean in and remind you exactly what you let slip through your fingers. You know what's funny. People think losing something is about watching it crumble in front of you. They imagine this dramatic scene, flames, shattering glass, slow motion heartbreak. But most of the time, losing something is quiet. It's subtle. You don't even realize it's gone until you go looking for it. And by then, it's not just missing. It's been gone long enough to forget what it even felt like to have it. That's the cruel part. The world doesn't send you a notification when the most important pieces of your life have slipped away. It happens in the small moments. The phone call you didn't return. The message you didn't answer because you thought you'd do it later. The opportunity you didn't take because you told yourself you weren't ready yet. And then one day, you wake up and all those little laters have piled up into a wall between you and everything you could have been. That wall doesn't fall down on its own. It's permanent. And every brick is something you ignored, thinking it would wait for you. People like to say, if it's meant for you, it won't pass you by. Cute phrase, easy to believe. But life doesn't play by your fortune cookie rules. What's meant for you can still leave if you don't open the door. It doesn't care if you were tired. It doesn't care if you were scared. It doesn't care if you were busy making excuses. The truth is, nothing is truly yours until you claim it. And if you don't, someone else will. And when they do, oh, that's when it stings. You'll see someone else living the life you swore you were destined for. You'll watch them smile with the people you thought would be by your side. You'll hear them speak the words you always wanted to say, and it'll eat at you. Not because they took it from you, but because you left it sitting on the table, untouched. Time is a ruthless thief, but it's polite about it. It doesn't snatch things violently from your hands. It waits for you to set them down, then walks away with them while you're not looking. And you'll convince yourself you can get them back. But here's the secret. You can't. The clock only runs one way, once a door is shut. You don't get to peek through the cracks, hoping it'll open again. The worst part. The world moves on without you. There's no pause button, no rewind, no second act where the spotlight magically swings back your way. Life fills in the gaps you left behind. People replace you in roles you thought were yours forever. Opportunities find new owners. That's not cruelty. That's efficiency. The universe doesn't wait for indecision. And here's the twist. Sometimes you don't just lose the thing, you lose the version of yourself that was ready for it. That fire in your chest, that sharp edge in your mind, it dulls. You tell yourself you'll find it again. But by the time you're ready, the hunger's gone. You've adapted to less. You've convinced yourself you didn't want it that badly. But deep down, you know that's a lie you told yourself to make the silence bearable. Most people don't even realize this is how it works until it's too late. They think they can coast, delay, take their time. They think the world owes them another shot. But the truth is, the world doesn't owe you anything. It offers once, quietly. And if you don't take it, it takes itself somewhere else. And you're left there, clutching air, wondering when exactly it slipped away from you.